Peace and blessings, fellas. What's up with all the daydreamers out there? Please live it. Don't sleep through this thing. Welcome back to another episode of The Pour Over, where we pour over into you some words of encouragement to not only get you through one of your days, but we're trying to get you through the whole week. Matter of fact, man, let's go ahead and say it. We trying to get you through life. So we've been talking about restructuring and rebranding, and we're talking about phase two. Phase two is where we actually put our hands to the plow. We do the work, we put the work out there, we put the effort out there, and we actually put action to the words that we are saying. We are no longer just stuck inside the planning stage. We are now in the action stage, revisiting the planning stage to tweak it as we go. All right, so that's what this is all about. The last time we talked, the first thing we talked about was setting up a Facebook business page and what benefits could probably come from that. Now, let me give a quick overview of that and highlight something. I don't want you to think that you have to go out there and get a Facebook business page. If you're not heavily on Facebook, then you getting a Facebook business page might not be the best option because you have something that is created that you're not even invested in on a platform that you could care less to be invested in to actually put the work and the effort behind it to make it grow, right? So I want you to just look at it this way. Whatever social media platform that you are politicking on, that you are promoting on, marketing on, and putting your stuff out there on, find out if it has any type of business tools that would help you further your reach that the other normal users don't have privilege to. So you get what I'm saying? You want to see if Instagram, like if Instagram is your main thing, which Instagram is tied into Facebook, so they have it. I'm going to tell you that right now. But you want to see, if you're more so heavily on Instagram, then you want to see if Instagram and use Instagram's business model for you, for the users, right? If you're on Twitter, you want to see if they got a business model. If you're on excuse me, if you're on TikTok or Snapchat, you want to see if they got any form of type of business model platform that will help you along the way that normal users do not use. So that's what that is all about, is taking full advantage of the tools that are given to you to reach the end goal that you're trying to get through. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So now that was step one. Step one, you got everything set up. You got your business page set up. You turned your social media platform into the business model that you wanted to be and everything like that. So what next? Now we got to move into phase two, not phase two, we're already in phase two. Now we got to do step two within phase two. I hope that made sense. So now we're moving to the second step. So what is the second step? This is going to be strictly for my artists, my creative family out there, meaning that those of you who are musicians, those of you who rap, those of you who sing, those of you who are in bands, those of you who are even spoken word artists. This is specifically for you guys and what I'm about to talk about right here, because this is something that I am a spoken word artist. I do hip hop and stuff like that. So this is for us. So before we move forward, let me put this disclaimer out there. I am not a guru in any of these things that I am talking about. I am simply giving you information that I have learned and am using. And also I'm putting into work, putting into action and everything like that. So we're taking this journey together. So these are things that some of you probably are already doing, but these are things that a lot of us are not doing. And so guess what? We are going to walk this road together. We're going to make it to that end goal together. So what is step two in this process of phase two? This is the step that we ignore, or rather I would say it's one of the biggest mistakes as artists that we actually really do. All right, I'm gonna read so that I can kind of stay into this thing, right? We release our music on social media platforms before clearing it on a digital streaming platform, or matter of fact, not releasing music on digital streaming platforms at all. So what do I mean by this? What I'm simply saying is we put a lot of effort and energy into creating the song, recording it, getting it mixed, getting it mastered. Then we put a lot of effort into creating a visual experience for the song, right? Then we put a lot of effort into promoting the release of the song. And we're doing this from the time that we record it, all the way up to the time that we're shooting the music video, to the time that we're getting all that stuff edited and polished for release. We put a lot of effort, a lot of work, a lot of grind, a lot of grit into it, right? A lot of promotion into it, right? And then we release it onto our social media platforms, right? But the problem is, because we did not put it on our digital platforms first, and what is a digital platform? Our digital streaming platforms is like Apple Music, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon, Tidal, iHeartRadio, all these different digital streaming platforms that we skip completely over and just release the song. Well, what is the problem in doing that? What have we initially done when we don't release it first onto our digital streaming platforms, and then after that release it onto our social media platforms? So I'm gonna use this as a means by which I can explain it, guys. We are talking about the difference between potential customers and actual customers. So let me give you an example. Think of it like this. When you walk into a store, all right, you're a potential customer. You're not an actual customer yet. When you walk into a new store, it could be a new store, it could be an old store, it doesn't matter. Let's take the mall, for instance. The mall has a plethora of options that you can pick from in one building, right? And shoppers go from from store to store to store to store to see what they can potentially buy, right? They're going in there with either the intent to just hang out and not buy, or they're going there with the intention to buy, they just really don't know what they want. Or they're going in there with the intention to buy, and they know exactly what they want, and they know exactly where they're going to go to buy it, right? So that's how this is going to be panned out, right? So just pay attention to what I'm saying. So your potential customer walks inside the mall, walking inside, in and out every single store. They haven't purchased anything. They're looking at stuff, and they're being asked by the associates there, hey, how can I help you? Is there anything I help you? Nah, I'm all right. I'm just looking. Well, and they give you the deals and stuff like that. And why are they giving you the deals and the specials? Because they're hoping to engage you and making you not a potential customer, but they're hoping to change you from a potential customer to a actual customer, right? It's called conversion, right? It's the conversion rate that a store deals with. How many people come in that get converted to spending money, right? That's what this whole thing is about when you walk into a store. Every time you walk into a store, you're counted as a potential customer, right? All right? They're not going to call you a potential customer. They're going to call you a customer, but you're a potential customer. You're not an actual customer until you actually make some form of monetary exchange, right? And that's when you've actually solidified a deal, and we've come into a business term of agreement through the exchanging of money. It's the same thing when it comes to our social media platforms tied into our digital streams, right? So pay attention. When you put your music out there on Facebook, and it's a music video, or even on Instagram, or even on Snapchat, TikTok, Twitter, and you put it out there in that form, that's fine and dandy. There's nothing wrong with it. You need to do that. That's free promotional, that's free publicity, that's free marketing and stuff like that. Unless you're taking, of course, the Facebook business model, then it's a little different. But either way it go, it's a marketing strategy that you can use. The problem is you're cutting out the ability to turn potential customers into actual customers. What do I mean by that? As long as they're streaming on your social media, yeah, your count goes up, but your revenue stays the same. Did you catch that? Because guess what? They're stuck in the realm of potential customers. So let's go a little further so you can kind of see where I'm getting at, right? So that person listens to your song that you just released on your Facebook page, right? And so, or your Instagram, or your Twitter, or whatever. But they go to your social media site and they're like, yo, man, I really love this song. They pull their phone out, go straight to their Apple Music, they go straight to their Spotify, which are the two largest streaming platforms, by the way. So they go to one or the other, right? They go to their favorite digital streaming platforms. They type in your name, you don't pop up. They type in the name of the song, you don't pop up. You've just hindered and blocked a potential customer from turning into an actual customer. You've turned you've turned away a casual listener or a one-time listener. Think about it. You've turned away a one-time listener from becoming an actual consistent day-to-day, month-to-month listener. You've blocked out the potential from them to be converted over when you don't do that. So I get it. It's not a wrong thing to put our stuff on. And mind you, I'm guilty of this. I'm just as guilty of this, guys. So we have to be strategic in some of the things. Now, you might want to throw out music here and there without putting it on the digital streaming platform, because there's little inserts and little snippets that you might want to put out there, or little small 1-minute songs that you want to put out there. And so you put those things out there and stuff like that to move traffic, hopefully, towards that, to the bigger fish that's in the pond and stuff like that. It's almost like artists with mixtapes. Artists put mixtapes out there. Most artists would put that. This is probably I don't know if the model still stands, but artists would put mixtapes out prior to them releasing a major product. Because what? It got the buzz going, people talking and stuff like that. Okay, yo, man, that mixtape by X, Y, and Z, that thing fire, boy. I'm waiting to see what he gonna come out when he comes out with his actual project. Ooh, so it gets the streets talking, it gets the people talking. But eventually the objective is they release a major release or a actual release to what? To convert the listeners over into actual consistent listeners, right? So regardless of the amount of views, let me go ahead and conclude this part. Regardless of the amount of views you have on a video on your social media account, those views are not actual conversions. Those views are not actual customers. They're not an actual conversion. They're potential conversions to consistent listeners, but you block them because when they go on the preferred digital platform, you do not exist. You don't exist. So guess what? You could have 10,000 views, 20,000 views on your social media platform. That's great and fine and dandy. None of that means nothing. The return rate, the return on investment in that is zero. Let me put it like that. 20,000 views and you've poured X amount of dollars into, so you got to think about it. You've poured X amount of dollars into this project. Studio time has to be paid for. Mixing has to be paid for. Mastering has to be paid for. Video shooting has to be paid for. Video editing has to be paid for, right? All those things have to be paid for. And here it is, you put it strictly and only on your social media. So you got 20,000, 30,000 views, 40,000 views, 50,000 views. That's great. That's awesome. That's fine and dandy. But guess what? The return on investment with those views is zero. If I'm wrong, prove that I'm wrong, I'll gladly say it, but I guarantee you if there is a percentage where you get an ROI on that, it's so small, it's almost like for what, right? So the return on investment, let's go ahead and say it, it's absolutely zero. You get nothing back for the labor, the effort, and the money that you put in to that one song or even the whole project, right? So let's go ahead and move on to the next thing. What about CD sales versus digital streams? Because people actually really still sell CDs, right? People still sell them when they go out to perform and they go to shows and stuff like that. Yo, I got CDs for sale, all that other stuff. Yo, holla at your boy, $10 CD, only $5 and all that other stuff. It's almost free, right? All that good stuff, right? So pay attention to what the math is going to break down to. So one example that I did was able to look up, man, I was able to look at one artist. He pulled up his Spotify account of what he was being paid for his views. The young man the young man got about 1.5 million streams. This is on Spotify. And this gave that artist about $5,000. Right, close to $5,000. Now, before you rag and be like 1.5 million streams and he only getting $5,000, that's 5,000 more than you got from your Facebook account and your Instagram account and your Twitter account, okay? So before you throw any shade, before you throw any hate, before you feel some kind of way about this whole thing, understand that's $5,000 more than what you got off of your social media platform and everything, okay? So let's go ahead and make sure we keep that crystal clear as we move along with this example, right? Now, with that being said, the whole 1.5 million streams and getting paid around closely $5,000 for those streams and stuff like that, let's go ahead and look at the lifespan of this return on investment that you're getting from the work that you're doing. Now we're going to look at it from the perspective of how will a project that is being released have a lifespan return of investment if they was to be in the selling the physical CD format after doing shows in comparison to having the streaming services hit after doing shows. Because the performance or the release on social media is where people get introduced to your music. The CD sales and the streaming service is where they actually lock in and become actual customers. But what we want to look at is the lifespan return on investment for that. So the artist that actually puts the music out there, people are like, yo, how can I get it? Yo, you can buy a CD from me. Boom, okay, they exchange $10 for that CD. They paid $10 for that CD. It's a 10-song CD, so $1 per song, right? So pay attention. They go into their car, they play that CD, and they get it. They like, oh man, this jank is jamming. And they love all 10 songs, right? But after a while, the average listener does this when it comes to CDs. We get down to probably about 2 or 3 songs that we like. It's rarely you find projects where you love the whole thing. But at the end of the day, let's give the benefit of the doubt. And you love all 10 songs. So you rock to all 10 songs every single day. Now, I want you to look at this perspective, right? You sold this CD for $10, $1 per song. They play your music going to work, coming from work, going here, going there. So every time they play your CD inside their car, or they take it and they download the physical CD, they download it, they upload it onto the computer, and then place it onto their phone so that they can take it wherever they're going. So they're constantly listening to your music, but it's not on a digital streaming platform. The only return of investment you got off that listener is only $10. Every time they play it, you're not getting anything off of those plays. Those plays no longer bring in any form of dollar sign, no form of revenue. There's no form of conversion, anything from converting the listening into actual like dollar signs. So every time they listen to it on their phone and in their car, even though they're listening to it on their phone, it's not streaming, right? So I want you to think about it. On October, they listen to your songs 100 times. On November, they listen 200 times. On December, they listen 125 times. They listen 425 times. Now, however you want to equate this, we can say 100,000 times, 200,000 times, 125,000 times. It doesn't matter. But 425,000, 425 million. What to the ever, right? The reality of the game is the value per song has decreased per play because the value per song is capped at $1. So the more they play it, the less and less and less they actually can be, you can consider the value of that song when it comes down to the dollar, right? So if it caps at $1, the more that they listen to it and everything like that, it's almost like a salary-based employee. The longer hours that individual works, if you divide the amount of hours they work by their salary, that lets you know how much they're getting paid per hour. So you can get an employee make a healthy salary, right? And we're talking salary-based, not hourly-based. You get an employee that makes a healthy salary, right? But if they're working 80 hours a week, not 40 hours a week, 80 hours a week, it diminishes the value they're getting paid per hour that they're working, right? But an hourly employee, the longer hours that they work, guess what? The more they can get paid per hour. And then not only that, once they reach past 40 hours a work week, right? If they go to 41, 42, 40.5, it's overtime. So they get paid time and a half, right? So you got to think about that in the realm of this. Right now, you're a salary. $10 capped out, $1 per song capped out. No matter how much those individuals listen to, the value of that song in the sense of return on investment shrinks and shrinks and shrinks the more that they listen to it. I hope that's making sense. Now let's go to the streaming platform. So you release a 10 song CD, 10 song project on streaming platforms, right? So an individual does the same thing. In October, 100. November, 200 streams. December, 125 streams. Total of 425 streams. So the value per song can, in a sense, you can say it stays the same, but let's say that we can use the example that it increases. So the more that people listen to it, the more money you make, right? So while yes, you've made $1, so I think per stream on Spotify it's like 0.38 cents, something like that, man. It's somewhere in that realm. But the more people listen to it, guess what? The more you're able to make some form of money consistently off of it. So think about it. In the car, I can play your music all the time and you will not get paid no more than the $10 I gave you. On my phone, on Apple Music or Spotify, every time I play your song over and over again, you're making some money off of it. Don't get so focused on the fact that the amount getting paid is small that you miss the opportunity to maximize the return on investment potential of putting it on the digital platform and everything like that. So what is the moral of the story? Put your music on digital platforms before you release them onto your social media, because what you want to do is create a potential conversion to an actual conversion. You want to move potential customers to actual customers. So a potential customer is somebody who, yes, they enjoyed your song on your social media, but they're never going to listen to it again because they don't listen to music on Facebook. They listen to music on Apple Music, Spotify. An actual customer goes from listening to it on your social media, following the link, and adding you into their playlist to constantly listen to you over and over again, which and help, which helps you be able to what? Consistently make money off of the fact that they are listening to your music over and over again. So you can either sell CDs or you can what? Promote for the streams, lock them in, or you can do both. I've seen artists, man, I've seen one artist, it was really interesting the way that he did it. He would perform, and then after he would perform, instead of selling CDs, he would literally hand out his his streaming card. Hey, yo, stream me on Spotify, stream me on this, stream me. He would hand out his card that had all his digital links and stuff on it. So even all they had to do was like hit the little scan thing, boop, boop, and they was good. Like he set that thing up, and I was like, wow, that's dope. That's really dope right there. But it's the genius thing, so sure, to the small-minded, he's missing out on potential money. So, man, you could have went home with $300 tonight. Yeah, I could have went home with $300 tonight, but guess what? I possibly locked in a consistent revenue for the lifespan that my music is on this digital platform. It's a different game. It's a different politic. It's different movement. So trust me, when I speak this, guys, I am just as guilty. I am just as guilty as releasing music with no game plan. I'm just as guilty as releasing music without having it on the digital streaming platforms. I'm just as guilty as releasing it knowing I have the digital platform paid for, but I'm not what? Utilizing it. I'm just as guilty as being as slothful as anybody else when it comes to the creativity that I'm putting forward in an effort to get it out there a little further and to lock in and solidify viewers. Now, let me put this out there and make sure I make this crystal clear. Yes, we have to operate it as a business model, indeed. And yes, indeed, making money off of our art is a good thing. But I still want to stress this. The main objective that you should always have as a creative is to always inspire first, is to always push people to be better at who they are, better thinkers first. But at the end of the day, if you are trying to do this longevity, if you're really trying to do this where this is like a primary focus, it has to bring in some form of income along the way. No business, no entrepreneur, no small business, no major corporation can survive without a return on the investment that they have placed into it. That's from labor and for the money, right? The money you put into it, the labor, the time, and the effort you put into this. Return on investments is how it consistently and continues to survive, guys. So I hope that this helped somebody. It encouraged somebody, man. Put a little bit more intent, focus on what you're about to do. And let me end it on this. We have to stop going to our art and five-finger discounting our art. If you don't know what a five-finger discount is, you need to learn what it is, because so often we are robbing our own selves of the potential of what our art can actually produce. Both encouraging and both bringing in a revenue of income for us to pay bills, to hire other people, to grow a business, and to invest it in other people, for us to do a plethora of other things. We are five-finger discounting the capabilities of our artistic talent. Much love and respect. This your boy Sleep. Peace.